movies of the Marvel variety.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our incredibly official, incredibly empirical, mathematical ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where we have suffered for endless hours watching this absolutely way too butt-fucking big franchise so that we can consolidate it in a tiered list for your amusement. It's been a long time coming. We've been working, and we've got the gang together. A new gang, I guess. I don't think this combination of four people has ever appeared in one single video, but we got my fiance Rhiannon, we got Jen, and we got Morgan, and we're gonna talk about some fucking superhero movies. How we doing, guys?
Call us the new Avengers of podcasting.
I don't think I will do that.
But basically, this is going to be exactly what it's looking like, and we are going to go through release order the entire MCU, and we are going to cast it into the fires of judgment into this little tier list here.
It's important to note we're also only doing movies phases 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, no shows. None of that stuff. We might throw in our 2 cents here and there about some shit, but we're basically going to try and come to a democratic agreement on each of these placements here. And maybe somewhere along the way, blood will be shed. I doubt it though, just because, that's how it is. Let's start off with the original sin, Iron Man 1. Every time I watch this movie, which I've seen this like a fair bit, I'm gonna say for all four of us that this is probably one of the movies that I've seen the most, and I'm guessing
Probably seen it more.
I mean, hey, it was on HBO. I might be able to fight you on that. Every time I watch this movie, I kind of expect to like it a little bit less, and I don't. I think Iron Man original, I think it's solid.
So they clearly knew that they were doing an Avengers project, as it is so called in the film, when they set out to make this movie. But they also knew that they had to make a movie.
Yeah, film.
And they did that. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and characters and performances and direction.
It's a real movie.
Yeah, the lightning in a bottle with this movie is obviously Robert Downey Jr. In the same year as his Oscar-nominated turn in Tropic Thunder, which remains one of the funniest times in Hollywood history to me, launching the single most successful film franchise of all time while also doing blackface.
Yep.
Couldn't get funnier to me.
No, really couldn't.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a movie I enjoyed a lot more when I was 8 years old, and that's something I can say about almost all of these, except for the ones that I saw for the first time at the ripe age of 25.
This one, so Iron Man does, even though, the effects are very good and the whole thing is very well constructed, but it's got this scrappiness to it that none of the other movies after this really have anywhere near the appeal of.
This gotta be Favreau's best movie, right?
People will ride for Chef. I've never seen Chef.
I have never seen
it's
it.
Okay.
That movie's a meme in my head. That's it. That's all it is.
My name is Chef.
My name, Chef.
I'm fine with putting Iron Man in the A tier. I think it's a pretty solid movie.
I would argue any less than A. I would put up a fight for anything less than A.
I think this is a relative scale as well. I think we're all playing to the universal strengths. I know that we don't like to lean on numbers, especially on this channel here or anything, but to me, Iron Man is the platonic idea of a 7 out of 10. Great, muscular, everything's kind of in its right place. Everything that needs to work does work, has a few exemplary qualities. We drop off a little bit. I think the kind of universally acknowledged weak point of Iron Man is that the third act kind of is the presage to the third act Marvel problem that these movies never get rid of.
I can't see anything. Is it in the dark?
In the dark?
Yeah, it's lit like shit. It's
God,
terrible.
yeah. Oh, man.
You just cannot see anything during the third act of this movie.
If I was doing this by myself, it would be in the B tier, but it also has Jeff Bridges' read of Tony Stark built this in a cave
with a
box of scraps.
I would actually agree with that. I think that, like, you know, the third act is where it becomes the least interesting, but like every time Obadiah Stane opens his mouth in this movie, it's kind of awesome. Like, I will never be hating on Jeff Bridges.
My man's the dude was going to appear in one of these movies at some point in time. And I'm very glad it was in this one, and he dies.
Yep.
I'm glad he's not in any more of these.
And he doesn't get lazily resurrected 15 years later. Anyway, The Incredible Hulk.
For all its faults, it is a real movie. It's still a real movie.
Mostly. It's mostly a real movie.
For this tier list, I can accept that as a saving grace. But for films in general, being a movie does not excuse it being a poor movie.
Oh, no, definitely not. I guess I'm just grading on a curve because I've spent so much time like catching up on Phase 5 and so getting the worst of it.
I mean, I hate to stick my neck out here, but like this movie's not good. Let me be clear.
Yeah, this is my D for dog shit tier.
This, to me, is like, it's kind of bad in a charming way. Do you know? Does it, like, am I alone here in that it's kind of...
I saw it 800 times, just like I did Iron Man. I could never hate it. If it goes above D tier, I'm like, what are we doing here?
No.
It's a bad movie, but it's a very inoffensively bad movie. It just kind of doesn't come together.
How do we collectively feel about Edward Norton as Bruce Banner? I feel like we, as a society, not come to terms with him.
I have no notes for that. If that was in a better movie, we'd be talking about him like we talk about Downey.
Right? Like, it's very strange that he's fine. He's fine.
And it's just the script, the direction, the character writing just does him absolutely no favors.
No one is helping Norton out. Not even the supporting cast can really get on his wavelength.
I like Tim Roth in this a little bit. I must confess. He doesn't get to do much or anything, but he gets to, you know, eat shit a little bit and kind of have that grin on his face. It's funny, I guess.
I like when the Hulk kicks him in the face and he turns into a literal bag of pulverized bones. That was fun.
You know, okay. This is actually kind of funny. I will say this has the opposite problem of most Marvel movies of this era, is that this movie doesn't get good until the third act. Because the third act is actually kind of cool. Like, it's more or less Hulk kaiju fight. It's cool. It's
once
kind of
Hulk starts hulking, the movie feels like it's working.
Yeah! And it is not the worst Hulk movie. Thank you, Ang Lee.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that because
I'm cementing that I definitely think Incredible Hulk is better. Like the effects aren't better, but everything else sure is.
Danny Elfman's score for the Ang Lee Hulk is incredible.
That is true.
Like gets at the center of what that movie is going for. It's more equipped to see into that than Lee, Bana, or Connolly ever were, apparently. That movie is trying to be like a Cronenbergian long dark night of the soul looking into Bruce Banner's broken childhood. And
what if it was about anger?
And like, that's a really cool idea. I just don't think does not work on any level. Mostly by being boring as hell.
Yeah, the ideas man in me loves some parts of the Ang Lee Hulk movie. Like, I think the scene between Bana and Nolte where it becomes like a two-man play in that little isolation chamber is really great. I really
like where Nolte's in the chair and he's like,
I really wish that movie wasn't like 2 hours and 20 minutes long or whatever.
Oh, God. Oh,
it's interminable.
When was the last time you saw Incredible Hulk? Did we even watch this together? I think we skipped this.
Don't know if we...
So that should let you know exactly the lane we're operating in. When Rhea and I did our MCU marathon that began years ago, we just straight up skipped this. I think we were just like, Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, let's go. Proceeding, Iron Man 2.
The first act of this movie has aged so badly.
Nothing There's a
Nothing
lot.
frightens.
Here's the thing: is that it was really bad then.
It's true.
But nothing living as a person in the world today frightens me more than the idea of like Tony Stark crashing into Congress and declaring himself the God King who has liberated America.
It's so funny that they try to like retcon this later with Civil War, where it's just like, oh, but no, he's reasonable about it, and I'm like, well, I mean, okay, whatever. You're
When was that exactly?
Yeah, we'll get.
I've successfully privatized world peace.
That's
Well,
really funny.
You know, there's a good movie hidden in Iron Man 2. It is
Absolutely.
it's obviously, like, when you watch this, it is so obvious that they were like, oh man, this first one really got the ball rolling. We need to get on this shit, like, fast, chop, chop, chop. Like, this is some Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2 was made in 9 months kind of shit, and it really feels like it. Anytime this movie is not about its plot and is just about Tony dealing with his daddy issues and alcoholism, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then the movie goes to fucking Justin Hammer and where's my board? And you're like, what are we doing here?
Mickey
also-
Rourke coming off The Wrestler is like an all-time get, and they just completely flush him down the toilet.
Yeah.
The first wasted Marvel villain, like,
And it really-
wholeheartedly.
And it must be said, this is the third movie in the franchise. We get to laying the template quick. For all the good things that we'll say about especially like the post Avengers 1 run, with some exceptions obviously, but for as much as good as we have to say about that run, they told us who they were pretty quick.
I don't think that this is worse than Incredible Hulk, but it is the
I
first.
do by a good clip.
Oh wow! Okay.
I would put this above the Incredible Hulk. I think we're about to hit our first roadblock
Yeah, I
here.
would also put this above the Incredible Hulk because I remember things about it.
Yeah, there are things that I selectively like in it. The one thing that I'm really just like that I'm super not into is the like franchise ground laying work, like shoehorning in Natasha into this movie, like trying to do all of the Avengers setup shit. Like it's exhausting immediately. Like, again, it is a movie that is like, in another world it's a good movie. In this world, it's a good movie that keeps getting distracted by seeing something shiny and going, oh, let's go over here for a real quick second. And you're like, why did you come back? Why is Elon Musk in this movie?
I just don't think anything about this works. Even the good things are so completely bogged down by its excessive reflex to be bullshit that it's like I there's just nothing here for me. This is like a light 3 out of 10 movie. It's also ugly as hell.
It is fucking ugly. This is another instance of real life foreshadowing with Jon Favreau being like, maybe I'll go and make The Lion King a couple of years later.
Beat your ass.
I'll compromise. How about we do this? How about we put it above Incredible Hulk, but we keep it in D tier?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Works for me.
I will accept that. Here's where this is going to start to get more interesting, just because this is I have a feeling we're going to have the biggest feelings and variation with the next like string of films. But I'll go ahead and go out on a limb. I like the first Thor movie. I think that this is a solid time.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite of the Thors, but I enjoy it.
It's probably my favorite of.
We have differing opinions.
yeah.
Lord, I
that's
guess it's my favorite. Good God.
Oh God.
Well, I'm sorry, I like
God.
I like the Shakespeare-y shit. It's nifty.
I wish there was more of it. That's my big complaint, is that once we get on Earth, this movie grinds to a halt and never really gets back from it.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I think the like Portman, Kat Dennings, Stellan Skarsgård stuff is utterly interminable.
I don't know why those movies continued like Wasn't the prevailing criticism of this movie that it was cool at the start of it, and then they just they keep making the same mistake over and over again with?
And then the Dark World was like, we're gonna do that the whole time.
That's the whole film, actually.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the better, when it comes to just the solid craft of filmmaking. I think this is one of the stronger Phase 1.
Yeah, it has like distinct visual choices.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which even in like the Incredible Hulk grading on a curve kind of thing is worth more than that.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is the first one that carves out its kind of own visual identity thanks to Branagh as a director that isn't just ripping off what Favreau was doing.
And
it's a little too like Battlefield Earth canted shots. Like you don't have to do that every other frame.
We gotta acknowledge too that the home run here of Hemsworth and Hiddleston, and even to a lesser extent, I think that Hopkins too, that's pretty home run casting wise in that department for the major heroic characters from this specific franchise. That's a pretty home run casting choice there. I universally like both Hiddleston and Hemsworth in basically all of these movies, I think.
Yeah, I have no qualms with Hemsworth. The big get for me, there's been a big get for everybody, or for every film so far, and it's either lived up to that or not at all. But the big get for this one was Hiddleston.
For sure.
It doesn't really totally make good on that in this movie, but has continued to make good on that over and over again throughout the last 15 years.
A sturdy foundation, I think, is the best way to put something like this.
Yeah, it's not going to knock your socks off.
For characters that would ultimately be used much better in future projects. So,
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
And it's worth noting, a lot worse, too.
Yeah. And then I think we have kind of a lateral move with, at least in my opinion anyway, with Captain America, which is pretty fucking confidently my favorite Captain America film. For whatever that's fucking worth these days, I guess. I like Joe Johnston a whole lot as a director. This movie's biggest problem is that it is B minus The Rocketeer.
The biggest problem is that it just keeps happening and keep going and going. It doesn't stop.
I know you are not a fan, but I still will argue for this as being the most foundationally solid Captain America movie, especially in the filmmaking department. It's the only one of these movies that isn't shot like that, which is infuriating to me. And yeah, it's charming. It's a very charming movie. It has sets. Hugo Weaving is awesome. Needed to be in a lot more of this, to be frank. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's good.
I don't care about any of the supporting characters in this fucking movie. I'm just gonna tell you.
It's definitely not as well-rounded as it could be.
Yeah, this movie kind of aged well and also poorly by the fact that none of the other movies after this are like this at all.
Yeah. And I don't really understand, I guess I do understand why in hindsight, because it's just this is a movie that's firmly rooted in the past. Winter Soldier is very contemporary, modern ideas, surveillance state, whatever the shit fuck. But I don't know, the nostalgic Captain America feels more right to me, I guess. It makes more sense.
I'll say that I think this has the strongest supporting cast of any of these movies so far. It hinges all on the leads for so much of these movies, one way or another. And Tommy Lee Jones, Haley Atwell, Sebastian Stan, all of these characters, the characters are whatever. But these are very sturdy performances, and Evans he's a very good Captain America. Make of that what you will. But it is very much a lateral move from Thor. I like it. I like the look of it a fair bit more. Hugo Weaving's fun. It's just like I think it's the most disposable of these movies that it's also just pretty fun.
I think that's actually a really good way of putting it. Disposable but fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are we going above or below Thor?
Oh, I say above, definitely.
Yeah.
I would take this all the way to a B tier.
Both of you say above, you say below, so I guess I'm the deciding vote.
It's C tier though. Let's be
Oh,
very
for
clear about
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I gotta admit I do like it more than Thor. If you were like save one of these films in a fire,
Well, if I'm saving one of those, I'm saving.
I would
Thor's
narrowly pick that.
Oh,
one.
again, to put it in perspective, if it's like you have to save one of these films from the fire, I'm walking out of the house.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just like, can I go
do
save
not-
another movie on another
save-
block? Can I save literally anything actually else than this?
I do not care.
I feel like I'm trying to pick up on the vibe shift here, but hot take: Avengers 1, fun time, fun movie.
Yeah, it's
Fun-
pretty
fun
good.
movie.
This is S tier for this list.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah, I would go
yeah,
that
yeah,
far.
yeah. You know what?
It,
Sure.
it is what cements the MCU as a foundation of pop culture. And it does that by being a really well-written, kind of TV-looking, but profoundly well-acted, performed, shot, and choreographed action, adventure, sci-fi romp.
Acting wise, everybody is at their peak so far here. Like, everybody is given the most amount to work with. Everybody gets the most like fun and dynamic performance work. They get to play off each other. It is the platonic idea of what one of these should be.
And
Everyone's
not
having
that
a
you...
good time. I'm having a good time. It's memorable. It's fun.
Yeah. I think that Morgan kind of hit the nail on the head. It's just the only problem I have with it is that, like, a lot of the technical filmmaking is actually solid. It's just the look of it, which is like, why is it lit like this?
Extremely, like, fluorescent fucking ABC family looking ass movie.
100%.
Which makes Hemsworth and Evans' costumes look terrible in several
Not
parts.
It's fine when those two characters aren't in the same frame, and then they are, and then you're like, oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, I don't even have like any like big problems with this. This is just kind of like this is an efficient, well-moving blockbuster, and it's a good time, and I would have a good time if I put it on right now.
Yeah, my biggest problem with this one is that there aren't more like it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, none of the Avengers movies really feel like this one does again. Of like, we got to put people together, there's some kind of problem happening, and now we have to work together to solve it. None of these movies really take that shape anymore of just like hitting the fundamentals of good blockbuster filmmaking. Nothing that says the Avengers on it is hitting that the same way that this does.
Joss Whedon's stock has dropped significantly, but I do feel like we have kind of overcorrected as a culture a little bit too much with this dude, because shit like this and Buffy still holds up, and I'm not afraid to say it because it's true. Like, there are parts of it cringy, but like, I'm sorry, it's still pretty foundationally good.
It is only cringy in the retrospect of the thousands of writers and projects that have ripped it off so insincerely. Not limited to at all a lot of these movies that we have coming up.
Now, that makes this next move here very difficult to gauge, because I would say that, at least from my perspective, this Iron Man 3 is my personal favorite movie of these so far. But at the same time, I don't know if that accounts more for like personal biases and the Shane Black of it all. So I'm like, in the name of preserving the sanctity of the S tier, I might even lobby for this to be at the top of A instead.
I like this movie a whole lot.
It is definitely my second favorite of the ones thus far. So I would be happy with an A tier.
Yeah.
Solid A tier for me.
I
Okay.
don't know if I would put this above the first Iron Man, but it's definitely A
not
tier
above the
for me.
first
I
one.
like this one a lot.
I would put it above the first one just because I feel like it carries its weight a little bit better. Like, it doesn't have the third act drop-off point. If anything, this is actually a movie that gets better as it goes along. And it overcorrects a bit on some of the problems of Iron Man 2, where we actually get a little bit more, like, interesting character depth with Tony, and also the whole segment of the film where he doesn't have the Iron Man suit is like the best part of any of these movies that has happened so far. Like, all of that shit, that's my favorite. That's good. That's beautiful. Perfect. Don't change it. So
Yeah, I'm happy with any placement in A tier. I can see how, like, obviously the first one is more important, but I do enjoy this one more.
I say I'll just put it right here in the name of, like, these movies kind of have their own strengths and weaknesses that probably even them out. They're on the same level.
Yeah.
And going right in the opposite direction, sequel-wise, Thor: The Dark World. My hot take on this movie is that, I don't know, we do a lot worse.
No, this
Like-
is it's a more consistent but less interesting movie than the first one is, and you
Yes.
can take that however you want, right? Your judgment is just going to vary based on how you feel about that truth.
Looks like dog ass.
I'm sorry, this is fuck ass tier. There is nothing going on here.
If this is the fuck ass tier, we're gonna have to make
Yeah, that's actually.
We're going to need to make another
Because
level that's
there's
just
lower
Thor
than fuck
sequels
ass,
that's
there's
underneath
fuck
fuck ass.
I can live with that.
Thor sequels.
Actually, hell. I will spiritually. I feel like every time I think about this movie, I'm like, I do think that on some level we didn't know how far we were gonna fall in the coming decade. So a lot of people were like, nah, man, this is the nadir. And really, the only good thing I can say about it is that it's just like, there's just a lot of Marvel movies I dislike much more than this.
It's just like, for me, everything pre-Infinity War, I have an emotional attachment to this, because these are like, this is what my friend group was based off of. This is the one thing that my family like enjoyed together and agreed on. This, like, Thor: The Dark World, I have a fantastic memory of the first time I saw it. I could never watch it again and be fine.
Oh yeah, fucking.
Like,
there is one great thing in this movie, and it is a single shot. It is literally the shot of when Loki is being held prisoner. See, none of you even know what I'm fucking talking about, which is why this movie sucks ass. Is that it's when
Yeah, I don't know where you're
held
going with this.
and he's like walking around, and it's before Thor's mom gets axed, and she's like about to talk to him, and then she's just like looks at him funny, and then they do this like little blink thing, and then his illusion cracks, and then he's like a complete disgusting mess underneath the veneer of like projecting. Like, it's a really nice little visual idea that relays Loki's character and where he's at in one single moment. And I was always like, I like him in this movie. He's like, Tom Hiddleston in this movie is the only reason I won't lobby for it being in actually hell. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, he's good in this.
Yes!
He's the best thing here.
Yeah, 100%. Something that makes this doubly awful is that I looked up the villain in this movie, the dark space elf Malekith. I looked up him on the Marvel, Christopher Eccleston. I looked him up on like the Marvel Comics like wiki to see what his character was like in like the original comics. This villain is fucking hardcore. This dude rocks, and they turn him into nothing. They turn him into nothing in this movie. It sucks.
It's really funny because I had like a Marvel character encyclopedia that got published around the time that this movie came out, and Malekith is not even in the book.
Oh, that's sad. Fucking what? Why are these movies posters the exact same color? Like, what is going on here? That is so odd. But regardless, the first of the big hitters for 2014.
This is Thor: The Dark World is still in the. I'm looking at my full list. It is still in my bottom 4 for all of these movies.
Really?
Wow.
It does not even have the nerve to irritate me.
That is its own kind of suck. I will totally give you that.
it is an active weight on Avengers Endgame when it like flashes back to the parts of this movie where he's like hanging out with his mom.
Yeah, it's I have 38 projects and from the MCU ranked, and it's my number 32. So it's basically just buoyed by the fact that like all of my more hated Marvel movies are just kind of sandwiched beneath it.
Yeah, there are just things that I hate more.
But at the same time, I understand.
Tom Hiddleston.
I can understand the ambivalence being the true evil here. That being said, Captain America 2, the movie that has aged maybe the worst on this entire list. This was do you all? Maybe it was just like maybe this is just how I'm remembering it. But do you all remember a distinct vibe shift when this movie came out and people were like, whoa, they're like stepping their game up. Like I distinctly remember like everybody rallying around Winter Soldier and being like,
oh,
this is great.
This movie, to my knowledge, is still quite widely loved.
I think
along
it might
with Civil
be
War.
Like I think this movie and like Infinity War might be like the two most generally well-liked MCU movies.
It definitely proved to a lot of people that this franchise had staying power, because nobody liked Iron Man 3 when it came out, and nobody liked Thor: The Dark World when it came out, and there was like a collective air that maybe this whole MCU thing was actually not going to work out as well as we thought it would. But the Winter Soldier was the first one to release after Avengers 1 that seemed to get pretty good critical reception across the board. And then of course you have the movie that comes after that, which cements the MCU for me as a force much more than the first Avengers does.
For sure.
This is the first one of these to suffer from the sort of Nolan effect, I think, in that it suddenly has aspirations to be something more than a fun comic book movie. It's trying to be like, there's parts of it that it was definitely advertised as like, this is like an Alan J. Pakula style espionage thriller, and it's like
parallax view.
Yeah, and you watch the movie and it's like such a half-hearted effort at trying to do that it's
even
also
getting Robert Redford in the movie.
Yeah, it's such a half-hearted effort at that to a degree that it is also half-hearted in being a fun, entertaining comic book movie. So it just, for me, lands in this no man's land of... Also, I think this is the start of the gray sludge.
Oh yeah,
thank you, Joseph and Anthony.
The filmmaking really holds this back for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like the action choreography and framing is frequently good, and the editing hacks this thing to bits.
Terrible.
Every fucking action scene, man.
Terrible edit.
Crazy how much they shoot themselves in the foot on this one, and it's like, and it is so far the most action movie-y of all of these, and it's not particularly good at it.
The elevator scene is pretty fun.
Nifty.
That's clearly the one they put the most effort into.
But I have actually here it's pretty nice. He's not here enough, but
I have a distinct memory of seeing this in the theaters and being like, oh yeah, that was great. And then I got the Blu-ray and got like 20 minutes into it before being like, this is boring as hell. That has been the reaction to so many of these movies, of like seeing them in theaters on Thursday or Friday night and being like, oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then you go to throw it on later because you want to check it out again, and you'd be like, actually, there's not much here.
And the top 3 movies we've got here so far, I feel like don't really suffer from that problem. Like Avengers, really rewatchable. Iron Man, really rewatchable. Iron Man 3, Shane Black screenplay. It's very rewatchable.
The biggest problem it has is that the first act is abhorrent, especially on rewatch, because you know that this fucking mystery is gonna go nowhere until they get to the Hydra bunker, and so the first like 45 minutes of this movie just do nothing.
It presages so many problems that I have with Civil War. It just suffers from them a little bit less. But like you can see the creep coming in like forward. You're just kind of like, is this the direction we're going to continue to go with these? And unfortunately, the answer was yes. But like, I do think it's
I don't like
a C.
Really, I don't think it's a
D. I don't think it's as good as either two movies we haven't seen, but I think that it's still, like, it's definitely not bad enough to be D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, sweet Christ Jesus. Guardians of the Galaxy. S. Fuck it. I'm not even if we're doing this relative, Guardians is the champion. Every appeal that the Avengers as a blockbuster has, Guardians has, and I like the characters more. I like the director and direction more. I like the screenplay more. I like the filmmaking, the sets, the environments. It's just kind of the Avengers, but with steroids, in my opinion.
This is definitely the best one out of all these so far.
I think in my actual ranked, this one is actually my number one.
And it is kind of the most, of the three Guardians movies, it's my least favorite, but it is the most, like, elegant. Like, it is the most, like, ideal blockbuster. Nothing about the pacing or the way that the storylines intersect. It's just like, nah, it's simple. It's got a good head on its shoulders, and it also, like, kind of like what you said, Jen, it kind of proves that the Marvel experiment has worked, in that these are a bunch of characters where their entire bit was, hey, isn't it funny that nobody gives a shit about any of these guys? And now everybody gives a shit about these guys. These are the guys that most people give more of a shit about than anybody else.
I know so many people who, like, up until Infinity War were just like, yeah, I like the Guardians movies. I'll go see Infinity War. Didn't give a shit about anything else that was going on. But if the Guardians are in it, they were there.
3 of my 5 favorite MCU movies are the Guardians trilogy.
Correct.
Same.
Ditto.
Yeah.
And oh boy, we go right from, like, the most elegant movie in the MCU thus far to maybe the least elegant movie in the MCU so far, which is still, like, I have a weird relationship with Age of Ultron in that there is a lot in this movie that I really, really like. And there's also a lot in this movie. Why is it here? Like, there are so many scenes in this movie. Like, I think about this movie, and one of the first things I think of is the Ultron parts retrieval sequence that happens midway into this movie that's like 25 fucking minutes long. And you're like, I know how this ends because there's a movie after this scene. What are we doing here? Like, it is from a screenplay perspective, structurally, this thing is a fucking disaster. This is also visually such a noisy fucking, like, eyesore. Like, there's just so much 2010s CG in it.
Yup.
And yet, whenever it, like, focuses up a little bit on the characters and kind of brushes the main conflict to the side, it's okay. It's pretty good. It looks a lot better than the Avengers one when it's not ugly as fuck, which is about 1-to-1, unfortunately.
This is my backhand, and that was a compliment.
Somebody else weigh in here, because this is just a movie where it's like, there basically in every scene there is something I love and something I do not care for.
Oh yeah, like, I love the dinner party, but why the fuck is Natasha working the bar at her own party? And just, like, little things like that pile up onto this movie. All of the sequel tie that they had to do with Thor.
Oh, the Thor shit in this.
Makes him a complete non-starter.
So stupid, man. I hate it.
Ultron is written so inconsistently. Like, Ultron's dialogue is just so tonally all over the place, what they're trying to do with this character. As they're trying to give him, like, Stark's wits, but you don't need to do that to make this character work.
I still think he is the second best villain that we've had so far.
After Loki?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean...
Like, by a fair stretch as well. And it is almost all Spader having the time of his life in that
What, you don't fuck with Ronan the Accuser?
You know, I fuck so heavy with Lee Pace that I'm infuriated that I don't.
Yeah.
And that is the very best of these movies have some sort of anchor dragging them down from, like, peak comic book movies. And that's what's going on with Guardians, is the first ones anyway.
I like Vision a lot in
I
this.
love the introduction of Vision in this movie.
Yeah, like kind of an underrated part of this movie is that he's cool, his powers are cool, visualized cool, and like theoretically I understand what they're trying to do. It's just like, oh, you know, Ultron is evil Tony Stark. He's literally born from his id, basically. And it's like I like that angle, but they don't do anything with it. It's just he as a villain, he is like in a vacuum cool, and then you apply him to this movie specifically and it's like, yeah, you know, functional.
I'm overall pretty glad that Wanda Maximoff was introduced to this franchise.
Yeah. The one
but
thing
there
that pulls it up for me is Wanda.
There's still just no place for them in this movie, really. Like, they feel shoehorned in because Joss Whedon really loves X-Men. And so true, my guy.
It's like, I do too. Can you give them their own movie instead?
It's just so weird that Pietro and Wanda Maximoff have no Magneto. That's so weird.
It's yeah. As a young fan of the X-Men comics, I remember having something in my head when I went to see this movie that they were gonna introduce like the X-Men in like a post-credit scene. Like something about that made sense in my head, and it not happening was just kind of like, huh? I mean, okay, sure.
I mean, they keep dog whistling X-Men stuff to this day without ever really getting
Marvels.
there.
We just watched that one.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, they did.
We'll get to
and
that.
this is the first time they do that, and it's just like, why would you even gesture at this if you're not going to have the rights for another like 8 years or whatever it is?
It's a lot of
it's so strange.
Singularly good things, and it is proof that filmmaking is more than just like a list of items, because you throw it all together and all these singularly good things become kind of a visually incoherent mess. And also the fucking, like, again, there's so many scenes and set pieces in this that just drag the fuck on. Like the Hulk and Hulkbuster fight scene is just like, it's so fluffy, it's so tensionless. Like you could be doing way more interesting things with this right now, and you're just
it's just like so not at all the main conflict of the movie. It feels
Everything
like
with Hulk in this sucks. The romance with Natasha, the whole thing about Hulk being out of control.
God,
completely wasted
that
presence.
really went nowhere, didn't it? Damn.
it was part of the effort to completely like forget that this movie happened, because like they pivoted so hard on Civil War being like secretly the second Avengers movie. So much more stuff happens in that movie that is way more important to this timeline than like anything that happens here, except maybe Vision.
Yeah, that's I don't care for that. So where are we gonna throw this damn thing? Like
I have such a. This is the one where I'm like, actually, maybe you guys, the general you guys are a little harsh on this one, but it's also like bottom C at best. I just have to be honest.
I was about to say bottom of C. Actually, also,
I feel like
lower than C for me.
I feel like bottom of C is right where it belongs. Honestly,
I if it was my list, I would put it over Winter Soldier. But
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I would.
It's just.
I'm down with that. We can put it.
You know what?
above
If
Winter
you
Soldier.
all are gonna say that,
Let's
then
do
I
it.
lobby that we put it above Winter Soldier. Then fuck it.
If and as bad as the Hulk stuff is, it has the Hulk in it, so that's better than fucking Captain America.
There you go. And kind of dialing in a fucking hard right turn in terms of what movies and what problems they suffer from. Now we're going to Ant-Man, which is God,
I could have been as good as like Guardians of the Galaxy if they had made a better movie.
If they'd let make a movie, yeah,
it really could have had that appeal to it, but it just doesn't, and so now this movie feels like nothing.
Here's my only.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Like, even if I step away from the fact that, like, yeah, Edgar Wright's Ant-Man is, like, the only thing that would even touch the Guardians movies for me in terms of hypotheticals here. But Ant-Man, even if I look at this for what it is, which is still a movie I think is good, It is a perfectly acceptable, fun little blockbuster. I appreciate the fact that the scale is way toned down because we got way too sky laser heavy. You know, we're just making it a little bit more of a personal conflict going on here, and we're doing some, you know, we got Hank Pym in here. We actually have a decent supporting cast, honestly. In fact, the problem is that the supporting cast kind of outshines the fact that Scott Lang is not a character in these movies. Scott Lang is Paul Rudd. The thing that infuriates me about this movie is that everyone in it is constantly looking at Paul Rudd and being like, "You're such a fuck up, Paul Rudd. You can't do anything right. You suck. You don't do all the." And he's like, they don't show him fucking up at anything. He's just nice guy Paul Rudd, who's just like, yeah, and then Judy Greer's just like, "You need to be a better father." And then from the audience perspective, you're just kind of like, but he's okay. Like, he even went to jail because he was trying to fuck over a guy who did a bad thing. And like, everything he does in the movies, like it goes out of its way to morally justify everything, to the point where I don't know who Scott Lang is. I don't know what motivates him. I don't know like what makes him different or anything. It's just like, this movie is cool when it has Hank Pym in it and he's telling him to do things and there are montages and it's pretty funny. And also I kind of think the villain in this movie is underrated. Corey Stoll in this movie is not given a lot to work with, but he eats this shit whole.
He knows exactly how to make this movie work for him. I will give you that.
Completely. And I don't dislike Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd a lot. It's just that as a character...
Yeah, Scott Lang is easily the least interesting member of the mainline Avengers team, if he can even be called that, by the way that his character's treated throughout all these movies. But I don't know. I think it's still in the C. Like, it's still a solid movie with some fun bits in it, and
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna lock
maybe top of D.
B. I'm gonna say it's B. For me,
okay.
I would say this is like a bottom, like there's no other entries in B so far, but it's like bottom of B for me.
We can always reevaluate later.
Yeah.
I can live with that for now.
Like the top
First Avenger being below it is the only thing that's giving me pause.
No, not.
I feel roughly the same about them, so it doesn't really matter to me, honestly.
I think
a lot of distance between those two, and it's much lower, so it doesn't bother me.
Fair.
Yeah.
We can come back to it if things get slippy. Oh, fuck.
It's just, Ant-Man is just like, I
These movies are nuts. What is an Ant-Man movie accomplished?
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. Let me say my piece on Scott Lang.
Okay.
I think about what was taken from me at least once a month, 10 years on from the release of Ant-Man. A movie I enjoyed when it came out and have not thought about again until this very moment. Michael Douglas is all-timer Hank Pym casting if this film was released in 1990.
Yeah. Pretty much. He needs to be more of a bastard, frankly, but
it's such an indictment of Kevin Feige's lack of balls that we go with Scott Lang as the primary Ant-Man over Hank Pym. And I'm not saying that Hank Pym has to beat up his wife like he sometimes does. I don't necessarily need to see that in a motion picture made for children. I'm fine with leaving that on the cutting room floor. Just give me something, a whiff of anything other than Michael Pena riffing. And instead they gave us Paul Rudd, who I maintain is maybe the most juiceless man in comedy. They give us Peyton Reed, possibly the most juiceless director to ever wield the camera.
And if we are saying that about this,
for these movies, definitely, this guy is like bottom tier talent for this list of directors.
Just considering those three movies and that Mandalorian episode, it may be the worst of all time.
Wote. quote status.
B is really hard to stomach, if I'm honest.
You know, you were talking, and I was like, yeah, we need to move him down. We need to move him down.
So
what's the deal with Civil War? Because I think I have a soft spot for this movie, and I don't understand.
Okay,
I'm not sure I follow.
If I'm being honest, this movie's stock has dropped with me more than any MCU movie in general. Like, I understand that this is like, it does kind of have the Age of Ultron problem, where there are things that you could isolate, and in a vacuum, I feel like you could call it good, and then you put it all together, and instead of becoming noisy, it becomes fucking infuriating. Like, Civil War's entire premise is that it's supposed to, you know, change the status quo of the MCU. That's what the point of it is.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson-esque.
Right? The order of
The
power
hierarchy of
about
power.
to shift. And then what this movie does that I think is like categorically unforgivable is that it takes the two sides of Civil War and gives you one guy and his reason to be on one side and one guy and his reason to be on the other, even though one of them
doesn't have an actual reason.
Even though one of the reasons is total bullshit anyway. And then splits the entire cast into these two camps.
In a way that breaks apart their entire character development thus far for each of them.
And that's the thing, is that it does, but you don't even realize it does, because it doesn't give them reasons to side on, like, anything. It's just like, why is Hawkeye fighting with, which side is he even on again?
He's on
That's
Cap.
a Hawkeye. Hold on.
He's
Jeremy
on,
Renner's
he's on
in this
Steve's
movie?
side. He's on Steve's side.
And it's like, why? Literally,
Hang on,
why?
genuinely, just a minute. Jeremy Renner's in this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Good for him.
That's damning, and I feel that way with fucking, like, they
He's
literally
only there to treat Wanda like a child.
they
all he's
bring
there for.
fucking a van, and they come in, and Scott Lang pops out of the fucking van, and he's just like, yeah, I'll be on this side for whatever reason. It's just like, you basically have accrued these people as mercenaries to fight for your little couple squabble, where Tony is obviously in the right here, and it's like, oh, this moral dilemma of how superheroes are in the and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't answer any questions, and then it railroads itself into its third act by doing some bullshit. Nobody dies. It's ugly. I look, Black Panther is awesome. Spider-Man, awesome. Love both of them. What are they fucking doing here?
Spider-Man completely hurts the pacing of this movie. T'Challa is in a much better place narratively with the way that character is set up. I even like that T'Challa kind of becomes the protagonist of this at the end.
I needed to do more of that, frankly.
I want more of that, and I think the first act of this movie definitely has its moments. I think Alfre Woodard gives one of the best performances in any of these movies.
That's
with
a
just
good
that
moment.
one scene that she has. But once
and
we
it's
get
with
there,
Tony, unsurprisingly.
Once we get to the airport, this whole movie completely falls apart for me.
This movie's third act fucking sucks.
Let's just... Where to begin? Let's start with Mark Millar. Mark Millar's Civil War comic, the Marvel event of the 21st century.
It's the aughts, yeah.
Somehow worse than this film.
Much.
There's quite a bit about this film in particular that fixes how stupid that comic was, while also completely making a lateral move in how ridiculous it is to begin with that these people are fighting against each other. If you want to convince me that there is a good reason that Tony Stark and Steve Rogers are fighting against each other, you need to couch that in the fact that Bucky killed Tony's parents immediately. That needs to be the conflict of the film, because then I see Steve Rogers and Tony Stark beating each other's ass like they do at the end of the third act and go, well, I'd be pretty mad too. That said, this Sokovia Accord bullshit is it's so unbelievably nonsensical. Like, both parties are wrong to such a degree that it's like unfathomable for me to enter into this conflict with empathy in any way. Steve is wrong because he wants less government oversight over gods and monsters and things that totally and completely have the potential to eviscerate human life on the planet. And Tony wants more government oversight in a government run by Thunderbolt Ross.
We all know how that turns out.
Worst of all time character.
Yeah.
It's just, you see, one of the tenets of good writing that you hear in writing class or just in general, like writing advice, is that you try to have an argument between two characters and you try to have both of them be right in some way. This is an argument in which both characters are wrong, and that can be interesting, but the screenwriters, the directors are in no way equipped to address that in the slightest. This movie is a disaster. And it's so gray and stupid, and like it makes me feel dumber while it's on. It's just God.
I've watched Lop for this, and still nothing makes me angrier than Civil War.
The main problem with the writing here is that it's very obvious that they could not mine meaningful drama to have a conflict between two sides on here. And so their excuse was throwing in the Tony's parents got killed by Bucky thing, when that drama and the Sokovia Accords drama are like utterly incompatible as dramatic ideas. Like these two,
not even vaguely related.
Like, they should not be here. They water each other down. Neither of them end up really resolving, and the end of this movie is just like, again, it should be shifting the status quo, and it does nothing. Like, nothing that happens in this matters. It is never referenced. It is never, like, there's no impact that, like, nothing. Nothing.
Quicksilver dies.
That's Age of Ultron.
That's Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That movie has something important happening.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I didn't even address that. I just have to say briefly, Aaron Taylor Johnson being cast as Pietro Maximoff, the worst casting of all time. So glad that he died immediately. Very unbelievably, wildly, shockingly poor casting. But Civil War, it's a hole that they dug for themselves to such a degree that it has to not matter in like the next two following movies because it's Thanos and it's the world-ending threat. It's like, I hear all the time how the MCU is bad now because they clearly don't have a plan. What about Civil War going into Infinity War less than 2 years later relays to you that they had a good plan for this? Just think about that jump in logic. Everything has to be fine. It must be fine and never acknowledged again for the Avengers movies to work. You have to completely sweep under the rug the foundation shifting moments that happen in this movie for anything beyond this to function. And frankly, the less they acknowledge it, the better. So it worked out okay, I guess.
I think, honestly, like, if I'm being, like, we clearly know how you feel. If I'm being honest, to me, this is the movie out of these that I like the least thus far, and I would probably, like, I wouldn't put it bottom tier just because I have a handful of movies that I do have that are bottom tier for me personally that I think are
Bottom tier.
That's true, but I think there is a degree of separation between those movies. For me, there is, and I would put it below the Thor: The Dark World personally because
in another tier.
Because both of them have exactly the same impact onto the entire MCU as a whole, which is
I just
nothing.
I don't oppose its placement at all. I just
No.
will say that I think The Dark World is a worse movie. It's just a lack of compelling ideas versus a bunch of poorly executed ones.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call Thor: The Dark World actually hell.
Well, no, it's not. And I will say I think that it deserves to be bottom of fuck ass personally because there's lower lows here. Like, unfortunately, much lower lows.
Yeah.
There's not, but okay.
Ree, did you see Deadpool and Wolverine?
Thankfully, no.
Oh my god! Oh, get ready.
No,
Get
I'm
ready
Yeah.
Prozac.
from what I have to say about that.
We need to
one.
get her on better health insurance before we do that.
I just think you'd be a little nicer to Civil War if you saw that movie.
That made my colon shrivel up. I believe you. I believe
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Good
I would
movie.
lobby for this to be our first B tier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Derrickson as a filmmaker. I like a lot of his stuff. I think more than most people do, and I
I
like the.
want to like him more than I do. I really, really do. But he consistently is just like, yo, man, I'm gonna be C- Mike Flanagan for the rest of my life, bitch. And he just won't. Just Scott. I know you
think-
can do better.
This is by far his best work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree.
been forever since I've seen Sinister, so I would have to go back to that.
I like parts of Sinister, but I would say that Doctor Strange is a movie with a really solid core and a kind of limp everything else. Sinister's a movie where the everything else is kind of strong, but the core is kind of weak. Doctor Strange, visually, it's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so the good parts of Sinister are the parts that you remember with like the 8mm
Mm-hmm.
snuff films that they simulate in it. Everything else is Ethan Hawke sitting in front of a projector and occasionally wandering around his house going, ugh.
And
It's
Vincent
boring as hell.
D'Onofrio doing a video call being like, "That's Bagul."
That movie is boring as shit. This is a fun movie with colors,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just Iron Man again.
Yep.
But that's a good template.
You
They
could
can,
do a
they
whole
can
lot
do that
worse.
again if they want. They can
Yeah.
make another movie that's
Yeah.
Iron Man. That's fine.
Cumberbatch is fun.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton is capital G great.
Mads Mikkelsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, like
Are
three
wasted.
strong presences, both of them.
I think
wish-
EG4 is great. Mads
Yeah.
Mikkelsen is summarily wasted.
Oh god.
Yeah,
but-
Mordo is great. I want more of him. I wanted to see his villainous turn that we ended up not really getting to see play out. But yeah, Mikkelsen
Yeah.
is just kind of a placeholder, but that's okay for what this movie has to do. I think.
Yeah, because this movie is so centered on Stephen Strange's arc as a human being,
Mhm.
and it does that pretty well.
Rachel McAdams is a decent B- Pepper Potts.
I forgot she was in this. The
Yeah,
last
I know.
time that
Yeah,
I watched it.
That's fair.
Less interesting character, better actor.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. It's
Um,
very, like, it's kind of the platonic idea of a middle of the road one of these. Like, it's very solid in basically every, like, category. Like, the action's pretty fun, has some cool beats that it just kind of steals from Inception, but that's fine. More movies could do that, you know? The one thing about this movie that does kind of rub me the wrong way is that it's really just how people talk about it, is they're like, oh, it's visually crazy. I'm like, okay, like 5% of it's like visually crazy. Let's hold the phone here. Like, if this really wanted to be the, 70s throwback fucking psychedelic Pink Floyd Jack Kirby ass shit, it would need to commit a lot harder. A lot harder. Which
Absolutely.
would be impossible. But still, I would like to see it one day.
I enjoy the visual ingredients that this movie
Yes.
has, regardless.
Yes, a little spice, little flavor. It's very, and again, I think that Cumberbatch kind of holds everything together, and the climax is clever. I like the way that the main villain dies in this. Is cute.
it's refreshingly disconnected from everything.
And now we're going right back to S, biatch.
Let's go. Guardians 2.
Volume 2.
I definitely like Guardians 2 the most out of these three. It fixes the villain problem that the first movie has by having fucking Kurt Russell.
Is this the best villain so far?
Ooh.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what is so undervalued about Ego, other than the fact that Kurt Russell really does just knock it out of the park, is that what these movies have not been able to do yet is just make you really fucking hate somebody. And you got this dude who's like, yeah, fuck this dude.
Ego is the worst, and he's doing amazing shit with that kind of character. It's one that we haven't gotten in these movies for a while because everybody has to have the complicated motivation and the gray moral characters, and then Ego's just like, no, he's an absolute bastard.
and James Gunn has proven himself the absolute king of that.
Hating ass bitches. He's real good at it. And I would say that this movie, by a considerable distance, is the strongest of any of these movies thus far at two things. The first being a good-looking movie. Wow, this movie's very pretty. Very many bright colors. Actually does look like a comic book this time around. That's actually not just a buzzword that's thrown around.
It's a CG spectacle film that they actually finished the effects on.
Wow!
It's the first of these movies to really, not the first of these movies, but one of the only ones in phase 2 that feels like a successful kind of isolated narrative that doesn't have to go too much farther into the future. Obviously, Guardians 3 picks up on some of these movies' emotional beats, but you get everything that you need in Guardians 2. Not even in the post-credit scene. Like, you get everything you want out of a movie during the movie.
It doesn't neglect anyone either. It's like every core member of this cast gets something very meaningful to do. Everybody's got a nice little arc, and it is, for what it is worth, in my opinion, the most emotionally affecting of any of these movies by some distance, because it really, really nails the whole reconciling with complicated family members and abusive parental figures. There's a lot of thorny shit in here that James Gunn, kind of laid the groundwork for with the first one that he really gets into the weeds with here and just kind of makes it work. The only thing about this movie that I think is a notable weakness is the fact that the third act is very, very long, and that is a problem, but also it has that one Fleetwood Mac needle drop. I don't fucking care.
Honestly, my problem is that the second act is a little waffly. It just kind of is something that is there to get from one place to the next. And like the group spends a little too much time apart from each other and sort of angry at each other in a way that feels just a little bit contrived. So they have the whole coming back together moment in the third act. But I realized that it's kind of necessary for what Gunn was doing. And also there's a couple, like, this is pure unfettered James Gunn id in this movie. He got the blank check from Marvel and he made the movie that he wanted to make. And that mostly works in spades. There are a couple lines and beats in it where I'm like, okay, dude. And that's just, you run the risk with someone who has as much of an eccentric voice as Gunn does.
Some of the jokes are like squarely written for 9-year-olds. Like, I find it kind of charming, but it's like, it's undeniable.
Mantis, look out!
That makes me laugh every time. I am a 9-year-old in this context.
Capital G, great movie.
Best of these so far.
Agreed.
Now, I get to do my biggest hot take, which is that I do kind of dislike everything about the characterization of Peter Parker in this franchise. However, I think Spider-Man Homecoming works very well as a kind of isolated piece. I like this movie a whole lot.
Okay,
I guess we're gonna have to get into that in Far From Home.
Of, like, the stretches of the MCU, it kind of feels like this is, like, I kind of feel like we're in the era where everything works the most for the longest period of time. And I think Homecoming's an extension of that. I think the only issue I really have with this movie overridingly is that it's just a damn shame that you went from, like, franchise-wise, and I am about to look over the Amazing Spider-Man movies, because does anybody even really remember or care? Because I sure don't. But going from Raimi set pieces to John Watts set pieces, that's a really big downgrade. Like, all of the action beats in Homecoming are fine for what they are, But you go back and look at the Raimi Spider-Man action set pieces, and it's like, it's not even close. Like, miles apart in terms of quality. Everything around those, I will never in my life forget the excitement I felt when I went and watched this in a theater full of people, and I witnessed a full crowd gasp at something that happened in a Marvel movie that they didn't expect to happen. Like, everybody, as soon as that scene happens, and they were all like, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, yeah.
One of my favorite theater experiences maybe that I've ever had is hearing the reaction to that moment
And just
of
getting
Michael Keaton opening that fucking door.
And Keaton is great. Keaton is really, really, really good.
This movie hugely benefits from being really small scale.
Oh, yeah.
I also have a problem with the Spider-Man movies in this franchise in the sense that it feels like Peter is constantly playing second fiddle to someone in his own movies. And this is by far the movie where that bothers me the least. I think Stark is perfectly utilized in this film. It's one of Downey's best turns in the whole franchise. It is, again, very visually flat. The set pieces are serviceable, but like, this is easy top of A tier material for this whole franchise for me.
I agree.
This is like the platonic gentleman's 7 out of 10 movie for me. And like, I have no desire to ask for more from this franchise, really.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would put it above. I would probably put it at the bottom of A, just because I don't think I like this more than either of the Iron Man movies. But I think this movie is solid. I love Keaton in this. I think all the parts with him are really structurally sound and do different things for the way that these movies tell these kinds of stories. Like, Keaton is a very unconventional presence for these movies so far. He's a very different type of character, and I enjoy the energy. And I do genuinely find a lot of enjoyment out of the wacky hijink high school stuff. I think that's done really well.
That's the best stuff in the movie, if you ask me, honestly. Like, I mean, not that the Vulture stuff is, like, bad or anything. It's just that, like, making this movie have an identity is just something that pays dividends. This is kind of the first time where I've been like, oh, I like Spider-Man in live action now, because I don't really like Tobey Maguire, and Garfield is, like, I like him, but I don't think he should be Peter Parker.
This is the best live action Spider-Man. You can argue with the wall.
I do think that.
It's not fucking Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I get nothing from.
I think I'm more fond on the Raimis than you guys are, but
you are, and I'm sorry we have dragged you into this house of hostility. But
no,
I have no hostility towards any of those movies. I have hostility towards the notion that Tobey Maguire is well cast as Peter Parker.
Next, we're going with Thor 3.
I don't even know how I feel about this one. I should have watched this one again to prepare for this.
I kind of flutter back and forth with this one, honestly. It's one that I really, really liked when I saw it. And it did kind of suffer from, like, Morgan's sort of earlier dilemma of just, like, every time you rewatch a Marvel movie and, like, some of the enthusiasm dissipates. There is a lot of things in this movie that I think work and that I do enjoy. I like Blanchett in this. I think she's fun. She eats this fucking shit whole. I think that the dynamic between Thor and Loki is probably at its most robust here, its most interesting, and probably just Hiddleston kind of, like, it's the funniest he's ever been in, like, any of these by a good distance. And there's, like, when this movie actually leans heavily into its use of CG, it actually looks really good. It's when the movie kind of mixes its normal sets with CG, and then it just, like, I don't like how it looks, like, at all.
This movie's lit terribly. All that stuff on
the comedy lighting
planet is not good.
And there's just sort of maybe it's just me souring on Waititi in general, but, like, there still is a lot about this movie that I think is likable and fun. It's very light on its feet, and it's not trying to do too much like Dark World was.
So my thing is, I like to laugh. I like to have fun. I like color. I like Chris Hemsworth with short hair. This is my favorite Thor movie.
Valid. Chris Hemsworth take.
All of these are good
fine.
reasons to label this movie as such, yes.
This is the most fun that the Thor movies get. It's the only one where if I had to put on a Thor movie right now, I'd put on Ragnarok because I know I would have a good time the entire way through. I think Tessa Thompson is a lot of fun in it. I wish there was more of her in it. But I have a good time with this one. I think of this one really fondly. If you all
Where to place it,
if y'all
though?
put my baby below B, I'll start crying.
To me, this is like ideal top of C. Like, it's just like that's kind of just where it dwells for me personally. I don't know
I
about.
would not put this above Doctor Strange. I can tell you that.
No,
if it's going in B, it's going in the bottom.
Bottom of B.
I think
I can take bottom of B.
I can compromise there.
This movie annoys me.
You don't like fun, okay? What the fuck?
I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I like fun. I like well-executed, funny fun.
For some reason, they didn't mention Black Panther out loud, which made this weird to edit.
This one's good.
Yeah. Low B.
Yeah.
I like flutter back and forth on how much some of the things that have been talked to death about how this movie kind of shoots itself in the foot actually make me feel, and like, do I actually dislike the movie that much because of this, or if I just had to overthink this one in particular to like engage with its place in the culture. I think it's more so the latter than the former. I think this movie's pretty good.
I do too.
Yeah, it's good.
I do think that its main problem is still that this is a movie about Wakanda. This is not really a movie where I feel like T'Challa is even the second or third most important person or thing in it. And that's kind of like, I wish maybe we had tried to do that because, like, again, Boseman is a really compelling actor and he really works with what he's given. He's just really not given a lot. But what this movie is good at is building a world, contextualizing that world, and bringing in characters like Michael B. Jordan that, like, you know, every moment they're on screen, you're like, regardless of how they're implemented, you're locked in whenever they're talking.
Angela Bassett has that same quality
Mm-hmm.
for me. Whenever she's on screen, I'm
more so
locked
in Wakanda Forever, especially, but
Yeah, I agree.
broadly true. Yeah, you know, it's good. It would be. I think this lands a lot better for me if the third act isn't unforgivably poor.
PlayStation 2 CG that just
it's not even like just unfinished CG. It is poorly directed, which is shocking from Coogler.
Well, because
even if
did it, probably.
Even if the effects look better, right, what's actually happening on screen is just not as good as the stuff that's happened before.
Very the end of Phantom Menace. You know,
that's a much stronger ending, frankly. Just for all being mostly in camera.
Yeah.
It's a very straightforward, kind of boring climax to what should have been a very different movie.
But the highs here definitely make it stand out from the pack. I would say that this is like middle B?
Yeah,
middle B.
I can fuck with that.
Okay. All right, it's Infinity War time.
Look, this movie does a lot of like character assassination and ruins some of these characters forever. But when this movie is on, it's kind of odd.
Okay, so elaborate on the character assassination for me.
Well, all the stuff about Ragnarok gets immediately undercut by the way that this movie starts and the way that Thor's character arc goes throughout this movie. The Guardians kind of don't have anything to do other than chauffeur Thor around, so their presence isn't as interesting as it could be when this is a story what should have been about them because of the familial connection with Thanos and Gamora, things like that, and that's definitely there. Those stretches of the movie are good, but the Guardians don't always have a lot to do. The resolution to the shit in Civil War is just like literally waving it away so that a more important thing can start happening. But I think the pacing of this movie is generally pretty strong on its own. There's something to the MacGuffin, and Thanos is a really compelling presence to watch on the screen. He's like a classic big movie monster man with a little bit more going on under the hood, even though I wish they had just gone all in on the like silly comic book romance, the physical manifestation of death shit.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, death is probably a baddie. Let's be real.
Have we read Sandman? We know this to be true.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about this?
I don't love it.
Damn, really? I didn't know how you felt about this, honestly.
It's C for me. But I don't have a strong argument.
I'm kind of with you, and it's really by merit of the fact that it's just kind of a movie that ends up leveling itself out for me, and that, like, I think it's a really fundamentally strong blockbuster in a lot of ways. I think it juggles the titanic task that it has really, really well. It's just, like, I don't even really feel comfortable having my feelings taken into consideration for the ranking here, because it is literally a doomed prospect with me when you do we're literally going to kill off half of our cast, even though we all know this means nothing.
Yeah.
And I get that that's means to an end, but I feel like it's like when everybody starts disappearing in this movie, it feels like my time is being wasted. I'm just like, can we just fucking, like, it aggravates me, and I feel like that's a little bit more of a me problem than it is a movie problem, so I'm just kind of like, I mean...
Yeah, for me, it's one of those ones that I wanted to like a lot more than I actually can bring myself to like.
It's got a lot going for it. That is to be... Like, it is the best made Russo brothers joint of all these. Like, it is the best directed, it's the best edited, it's the best action, it's probably the best screenplay. Yeah, it's got a lot going for it. It's just that as fundamentally, it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah, like, it's shooting to give... For me, it's like shooting to have the feeling of Avengers 2012, but falling really, really flat. In that you build up all this excitement, but you don't.
Morgan, I think that makes you... Are you the hottest on this movie, then?
Yeah, y'all crazy.
I like this movie. I see where Jake and Rhiannon are coming from with the thing at the end doesn't really mean anything, and I can definitely vibe with that. And I do think that scene.
Jake will remember that I had that problem as well when we saw the movie initially. The existence of Endgame and how that all played out completely rectifies that for me to such a degree where I feel comfortable being like, this is the Empire Strikes Back moment of...
Oh, for sure, it is.
The 2010s. It's not nearly as good, but...
It's the closest it's come to replicating.
This is like a task that's kind of unbelievable to me that they did achieve it in any way whatsoever. Balancing like 15 characters that have all been the main characters of their own movie and doing it well. I think this is the best Thor movie, frankly. Him losing his eye and losing everything, him losing his home, and then going essentially on a revenge quest. The well-being of everything else be damned. He's not even doing this for like to save the universe or anything. He is doing it because he wants this motherfucker to die. I think that is the most Thor shit in the world.
It is,
and it rules. I love how everybody plays off of each other in the downtime moments of this movie. I love
chemistry strong.
The fight on Titan where Thanos like throws a planet at Tony Stark.
Shit. That's just gas.
That's elite.
Let's go.
That's how all of the action in these movies should be.
This is like the three that we have in S tier already. This is an easy S tier for me, but I can live with A.
I feel like compromise can be made with A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's B.
Yeah. That is wrong.
Fuck ass.
Fuck. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck ass movie.
Just like not even
pointless.
Didn't happen.
Why are we here?
Goggins is in this movie.
Categorically a movie that did not happen.
I know that Ghost is like the bad guy and like Lawrence Fishburne is there, but honest to God, what the fuck happens in this movie?
They asked Lawrence Fishburne if he would like to be in an MCU movie like 5 years after this movie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to be in one." And they were like, "You're in one." And then everybody who read that article was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I guess he is."
What a waste of time! Oh
Just
my god!
Fucking.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this as I do Dark World.
This is just a. I mean, it's a movie that, like, if you turned it on, I'd be like, do you have to? But if you were like, yeah, I'd be like, okay. Like, I wouldn't tell you to change the channel, but I would be like, oh.
Their real-life revelations about Evangeline Lilly's perspectives on things notwithstanding, she sucks.
Bad.
She's bad
has always sucks even more in the next one, and so unbelievably rude to waste Michelle Pfeiffer like this.
Oh man,
This is the fuck ass tier. I can
Yeah,
take.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Straight to fuck ass.
Where you belong.
In my hot take.
No, not here.
Yeah.
think I speak for everybody when I say that I think that Captain Marvel's solid. I think it's pretty good.
Extremely like decent time type of movie.
To me,
Gets
this
a
is
lot of-
like a firm B tier.
Yeah, this is
Firm.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like how quippy Carol is as a character when they're doing the whole amnesia plot. Something about the tone of it just doesn't sit right with me. But overall, solid movie.
Yeah, it's fun. I like some of
It's-
the action beats a lot. And I like Brie Larson in the role. I think she does a good job. Supporting
Larson
cast
and
is fun.
Jackson. Larson and Jackson in particular, when they're bouncing off of each other, is really great. It's sort of the inverse of the first Thor, where like everything on Earth is really good, and everything in space, the cosmos or whatever, kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Jude Law is like a non-presence, but generally, you know, a fun time at the pictures.
Ben Mendelsohn, fun.
Yeah, this has something a lot of others don't, and it's Brie Larson kicking ass to a No Doubt song and a Nine Inch Nails shirt. You know what I mean?
You can't hate.
I really can't.
I wish they made this less like Guardians of the Galaxy, chasing that kind of high. But if you're gonna do it, it works okay. I think I'm the most sour on this one just because something about these last two that I had to watch to get ready for this. But I hate when these movies turn into buddy cop movies. It's so annoying. It happens a lot, especially in these like last couple of phases. And this is the only time where they really get that dynamic right with Larson and Jackson.
It's all up to execution. I think that Morgan and I in particular really kind of like if you become a buddy cop movie, we're actually more likely to dig what you're putting down. Like if you do it really well, like there are worse things to do than be Lethal Weapon with superpowers. Like I cannot
definitely,
help the way that I am.
it works here better than it works in some of the ones that are coming later that I'm gonna have complaints about.
For sure. Endgame. I like this one.
Yeah.
I think this is the second best Avengers movie for me personally.
Yeah,
but
I like it more than Infinity War.
I think that it's the only time outside of the Guardians movies where the emotional component of it really works for me.
As endlessly cynical about this franchise that I am, and that I kind of was post Infinity War, I watched this movie and wept with joy. It's not a thing that happens to me. I don't cry. I'm on antidepressants. That hurts that ability.
What fucking antidepressant are you on? What the fuck?
That's a side effect. It happens to people. I also get.
Well,
I
how
also
the fuck
sweat.
do I get it? Because I cry every day.
I don't know, dude. Fucking, it's a solid prey. Maybe give that a whirl. Yeah, this is another easy S tier. I would also accept high A.
Yeah, this
But
movie
I
is just kind of an undeniable feat if you're remotely into any of this at all.
And like the fan servicey stuff, I honestly think that like in principle, I'm normally like, fuck this fan service shit. But when it's Endgame, like you gotta make room for this kind of shit somewhere, and you might as well do a good job while doing it. And I think this movie does a good job. And you know, we have the final battle set piece, which is pretty cool. Like, you know, it's really heavy on the CG, but like Infinity War, I think it makes pretty good use of it. It's like the only issue I really have with it, like that isn't just inherent with it being a Marvel movie, is that like, why does this movie not look as good as Infinity War does? Like,
Yeah, it's very strange.
very odd.
The decision to set it in an ash heap for the final climax is sort of befuddling.
A wee bit baffling, but like even from like a logistical standpoint, it's very impressive how they just kind of have to put this titanic thing together and make it not just collapse at the seams. I would say it's high A, low S. I'm not really like strongly lobbying
I'm down.
the other.
Yeah.
Oh, let's put it bottom of S. Why not? Because that tier. We have to be flexible with the S tier, otherwise it's not going to get a lot of love.
No, that bottom of S feels correct for Endgame. Absolutely.
Speaking of things that don't deserve love, Spider-Man Far From Home.
This movie stinks.
The movie sucks.
Fuck Jake Gyllenhaal out of 10.
Yeah, where's the fuck Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie tier? Like legitimately, I really like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. He like up until a point, I would have considered him one of my favorite actors. His presence in this film nearly destroys it. Like, he's fine for about an hour. And then the midpoint of this movie hits, and then it just, like, it becomes dramatically worse in a way that none of these movies have had a problem with before.
So how you gonna make Mysterio an Iron Man villain? How you gonna do that?
It's so annoying.
It's so
the
dumb.
most annoying.
What
thing.
was the thought process behind, you know what would be really good if we made iconic Sinister Six Spider-Man villain? You know what would be really good if we did that? What we did with that is if we make him really mad at Tony Stark.
And also just make him Tony Stark. Like, that's like what his bit is, that he's Tony Stark, but he sucks. And it's
Nobody
like,
liked when you did this with the White Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
it's like all of the villains are just Tony, but he sucks.
This is really annoying Spider-Man fanboy shit that I'm about to drop, but
Go for it.
Do it.
why would you take Spider-Man out of New York? What is wrong with you?
Stupid idea. It's a really stupid idea. One that makes me
dramatically from not only not being a particularly strong film in its own right, but also by the fact that what is the thing that we have to compare it to at the moment? Oh yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. It ain't touching it. It just ain't.
Let's just have this solo Batman movie, right? Let's just have a The Batman Part 2. But he's in Star City. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No! No!
he's in Star City and he's fighting Sinestro.
Shut up!
God.
That's basically what's happening here.
I felt my colon shrivel up. Holland's still good in it. Overridingly, he's still a pretty compelling, likable presence throughout the whole thing, and like
Him and Zendaya have some nice moments.
yeah. And
I
there's
would put
like,
this maybe like top of D.
yeah,
I can live
feel
with
like
that.
I feel like that's right. I think for me, it's that like it hits on a couple, like the moments in which I like this movie are the moments where they do actually hit the beats of Tony's gone and he's like reeling from the loss of that, but like the fact that you put in another makeshift Tony with Jake Gyllenhaal for him to look up to and then get disappointed by is just like, we needed to feel the lack of presence for one movie. We needed to feel the hole in Peter's life because that's the dynamic that this is informing. And instead, you're just giving us Tony Stark but shithead. And it's like,
And like the ending beat where it finally does feel like he has gotten out of the shadow of Tony Stark by defeating Mysterio is like good in a vacuum. But
Yes.
the fact that it is preceded by a movie that is a complete wet fart doesn't compute, man.
And unfortunately,
Speaking of wet farts of movies,
we have passed into the Dark Ages.
this is where we really start hitting the nadir notes.
This is the second worst movie of these so far.
Black Widow. Yes, actually, I think I agree with that.
I think Dark World is better than this. I do.
I don't, but it's by like one placement.
What happens in this film?
So I just watched this one to prep for this video, and the thing about the Black Widow movie is that it's good when it's trying to be a real spy movie, but then Natasha Romanoff will fall like 10 stories off of a cliff and get up and just start running again.
An
it's just
ability,
little-
luckily, discards that could have been useful later on. You know?
Yeah, she basically has
Maybe.
superpowers in this movie. The movie is really bogged down by David Harbour, who I hate this fucking character so much.
Bad.
I hate the Red Guardian so
Literally
much.
just a in Soviet Russia blank blanks you joke. That's his whole. And like, I am so pissed at Marvel for like, people were saying give us a solo Black Widow movie since the first Avengers, and they elect to finally do it after they kill her. What is your problem?
Unspeakably stupid.
Really stupid movie.
My biggest problem is that it is a very stupid movie, but there is something that is so compelling and could be so good about actually having a solo Black Widow movie and diving into the Red Room stuff and just the abuse of women in that area, but we just kind of throw it all away.
They fumble that shit so hard.
It's really insulting. Frankly.
Yeah, all that stuff is
And then
done well enough, but then you get to, because here's where I say this movie just completely doesn't work. If you just had that face-to-face confrontation with like Ray Winstone's character and the movie just ended there, like, you know, kill the guy, arrest him, whatever you want to do, but then the climax goes on for another like 20 minutes because the big fortress in the sky is falling out of the sky.
You know, my favorite part of a James Bond movie is when he goes into the giant sky fortress and has to sink it and it explodes. Yeah. Oh wait, what? Literally just be a Mission Impossible movie. The rubric is right there. Just make Tom Cruise Natasha Romanoff, and there you go. There's your movie. You didn't like hire Brad Bird, call it a fucking weekend. I don't know,
it's an insult to women. It's an insult to Florence Pugh.
It's an insult to Rachel Weisz.
Oh God, yeah.
This will not stand. Fuck ass tier. Get out of my sight.
Yeah, that's.
It's not worse than Civil War.
It's
not worse than Civil War.
Definitely on the same level for me.
I feel that it is.
I think it is.
It's in fuck ass tier. It's not worse than Civil War.
I think I gotta say it's worse.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
I will compromise.
Things that I like in Civil War.
Is Civil War actually hell though? Like, is that how we really feel?
But there's just like Black Widow is like it's so less of a movie. There's just nothing.
Okay,
I'm always going to prefer
what happens in Civil War.
I'm always going to prefer a movie that pisses me off to a movie where absolutely nothing happens.
I prefer a movie where I get to at least see Florence Pugh.
Well, we have another one of those later on.
Well, let's just here's a proposal. We move both of these to Actually Hell, and we acknowledge the Actually Hell section as just the lowest that it goes.
Yeah.
No rank. There is no ranking that matters here. This is a nebula, an endless sea of black night that you can't even see in front of your face. We are at the bottom.
Shang-Chi, Mid-City.
Nothing happens here.
Yeah, Mid-City. Tony Leung is in this movie.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
he's good in this
Gabrielle
movie.
is in this movie. Is she?
No, I can meet you there, but I think Tony Leung is actually pretty good in this.
No, totally. This movie, more than any other, suffers from one main problem, and that it is like, hey, Shang-Chi's our main character, even though his way more interesting, hot, and cool sister is also here, even though the movie should totally be about her. But now let's go back to fucking Shang-Chi and Awkwafina instead, and it's like, I don't. What this movie has for it is the action beats in this, save for the last one, are really kinetic, really well filmed, really well put together. Like, it is, the action beats in this stand mostly head and shoulders around the action beats of all the other movies. Like, even most of the good ones.
And personally, that gets you between Black Panther and Captain Marvel for me. If this was just my list, that mere fact alone that people throw hands in this movie and you can see it and it looks good.
Yeah, there's fun action in this. I agree.
I will lobby this for bottom of B. I think that this has commendable things about it, and then it just kind of, like, the longer it goes on, the more it just commits less to its interesting qualities and more just kind of devolves into being a Marvel movie. That's its biggest issue.
Yeah, I just think Simu Liu and Awkwafina are awful presences.
They do.
No,
so.
I would be happy with top of C. I do like this movie, but it is also like, it's a movie called Shang-Chi, and the guy who plays Shang-Chi is really boring. It is a movie like completely buoyed if they get that casting right, and they didn't.
Who would have been a better Shang-Chi? Because I can guarantee you there's at least 3 people that could have done it better. Fucking
It's not that difficult of a role to
Steven
hit
Yeun.
beats on. That's the thing.
What the fuck was he? Get him. He's got
like
way more charisma than fucking Simu. Like, Jesus.
I think it has to be a Chinese dude.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough,
I was gonna say, where is Steven Yeun? Korea.
Yeah, I just like Simu was a nobody, picking nobody, but like one
Yeah.
with sauce.
Just get somebody. Get somebody who can
Yeah.
cook. He can't cook.
He cannot.
He is not cooking. Go back to your stock photo
Fuck.
shoot.
Speaking of not fucking cooking, Jesus H. Eternals. This is gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be where y'all and us are probably the most divorced because like we only saw this recently, so I did not like participate in the discussion around this, you know, with the whole Chloe Zhao and the this and the that. I do not like legitimately. There is not a single aspect of this movie that I like. I don't.
No, this movie sucks.
I don't even like the way that it looks. I get that it's using natural lighting. It looks boring.
Yeah, I reviewed this
boring.
pretty relatively. I was relatively charitable to this when it came out. Nope, it aged very badly.
Every character is boring, bland. Like this movie, we looked at it to measure how long it took. This movie takes 90 minutes to begin. That's when the getting the gang back together portion of the movie ends at the 1 hour and 30 minute mark. That is inexcusable.
And like I said in my review, like everything that this movie is completely divorces it from everything else and itself. Like it's just
it feels like it has no connection to like anything at all. Even though the movies after it still try to root back and be like, yeah, there was the big eternal hand thing that's
the Celestial.
Like the moment that Richard Madden's character pops up as soon as one of this big scary evil monsters pops up, I was like, oh hey, he's the bad guy. Lo and behold, he was the bad guy.
Really, quite possibly the worst villain in any of these.
Yes.
Second only to fucking Bill Skarsgård, who's also in this movie as fuck-ass alien.
I'm sorry, he what?
That's Bill Skarsgård, the fuck-ass alien that's fucking with Angelina Jolie's character.
Oh my god, you're right. Wow. Holy shit.
Genuinely,
Yeah,
genuinely hang on a moment.
His name is Crow, Kro. I looked it up. I don't remember this.
Sucks, man.
Okay, he's a voice. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's a voice role. You don't see his face.
Even still, like, I don't even think, like, the effects in this movie are, like, sometimes they're fine, sometimes they look completely indiscernible from bits I've seen from The Flash. It's all rubbery and like, the fucking, like, I don't know what it is, but there is kind of a Christopher Nolan-y quality about the visuals of this, but, like, with none of the color temperature. Like, with, like, just none of the things that make his movies look interesting or visually distinct, including carrying Harry Styles over from Dunkirk because they kick him into the end.
I was about to say, like, fucking Harold Styles.
Get out of here.
What's that?
I think we've given this movie more time than it deserves.
Yeah, where do we put this thing? Is this actually hell?
Oh, this is actually hell.
Okay.
I enjoy this less than Black Widow.
I would advocate for fuck ass just because I think this movie is at least bizarrely bad in a way that none of these other ones really are.
I was so bored. I was so bored.
So this is where I have it below Black Widow and above Civil War. So,
but I still feel like tier wise,
yeah, fuck ass,
spiritually,
hell, one of the.
Yeah, I don't care.
Once again, these fucking morons didn't say the name of the movie, which makes this hard to edit. Fuck you. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. Idiots. Losers.
Okay.
Time for the movie that put me in a depressive episode after I watched it.
And I'm sorry, Jen, but I think unfortunately you are the only person who feels that way about this movie.
No, this movie kicks ass.
I kind of like this movie. I'm sorry.
I'm a fan. I was serviced. I like it.
There are parts of this movie that I do enjoy. I just had such a reckoning with the notion of nostalgia and what it's
Like,
doing to my brain
I
when
can
sitting in the theater to watch this. It didn't feel
I
I
can
was
acknowledge
doing some kind of act of self-harm to myself by
I
watching
think
this in
I
the
think I
theater.
just I may have felt similarly if I hadn't gotten there like 3 years earlier with The Rise of Skywalker.
that might have something to do with how I feel about this film because
That's kind of a moment where I'm just like, I
I
need to
hear
take
you.
all of this blockbuster shit less seriously.
I hear
Yeah.
you, actually. I really do hear what you're saying.
This is a movie where I completely understand basically any viewpoint on it. And like
Yeah.
on one hand, I can acknowledge that it's like this movie does some of the most interesting stuff with a live action Peter Parker that we've had in any Spider-Man movie. And the place it leaves off is the most interested I have ever been in a live action Spider-Man's character and where he might go. And also, I do understand people who see this movie and are like, this is the death of culture. Like, I get it. I really do. But
I would.
it's not really to do with the movie itself and more just the franchise crossoverness of it all is very I, as someone who enjoys this movie, it is mildly dystopic. I completely get it. It's a little pandery. But it's like Endgame. It does the pandery stuff pretty well.
The thing for me with this movie is that obviously I didn't always feel this way, but 2 or 3 years later, however long it was, we got a movie that we'll get to in a couple minutes further on in this MCU type beat.
Oh, yeah.
It does all of the things that are hateable about No Way Home while also being a lazy, ugly, poorly written hack movie.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I think this movie hits a lot of its beats pretty well. I guess my biggest issues with it are the treatment of the villains themselves, which feel slightly undercooked kind of across the board, just because there are too fucking many characters in this movie.
Yeah, I feel like that's undeniable.
Sure.
It doesn't juggle them as well as Infinity War juggles its characters, at least for me.
It gets a lot of mileage out of the fact that these are, in fact, the villains that we've seen in previous movies.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot to be said about, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, alternate universe bullshit. But it is an excuse to make a Sinister Six movie with all of the best castings of those characters possible, pretty much.
That is kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. I will say, I am never, ever, ever going to say no to Willem Dafoe putting it fully in his crazy ass bag. Like he really gets to lay into shit in this movie, honestly. Like he may even be my favorite part of it just because it's like, no, we're going to make him as much as maybe even more of a bastard than he was in the original.
He's the best villain in any of these movies, and I will die on that hill.
Because you're fucking evil.
And part of that is that he's in Spider-Man 1 by Sam Raimi, and he's great.
Yeah.
Part of that is also that they just turn that dial even further.
Yeah.
And make him the most compellingly insane, menacing figure that any of these movies have ever had the guts to have.
Even still, as somebody who doesn't even like the Raimi movies, I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little something when we had Toby and Alfred Molina talking. Like I felt something there. There was that stirred something within me. And again, I think that at the end of the day,
Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe even exchange a single line of dialogue in this movie?
Do not think so, because Willem Dafoe is Tom Holland's villain for the most part in this. And honestly, that's why I firmly come down on the side of liking this movie, is that, like, I think that if I just view this as a vehicle to do interesting shit with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, yeah, it pretty much gets the job done. It's a whole lot messier than Homecoming, but, like, it takes big swings. And there is also a little part of me that's just like, give a little pat on the back to poor Andrew Garfield. Motherfucker got really screwed. I'm happy we got him a win.
And he gets a great redemptive moment in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
I want to see the vision of this movie so bad. I want to like this movie so bad, but something about it is just always unsettled something inside of me. But I won't say that it should go any lower than a C. I like it more than Far From Home, I can fucking tell you that.
This is A for me, and I will throw hands for anything less than B.
I think it is A.
I'll lobby for bottom A. I think.
Yeah.
This is just the one where I'm gonna have to be the outlier, and that's fine.
Yeah. It
I knew what I was gonna get into when we got to this one.
We had it with Ragnarok, or at least I did.
We've got
here we are.
We went back to
a bright spot though, because
This is the coolest.
I really like this movie.
Say the name of the movie, Jake. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Jackass.
I think that this movie is a shitload of fun. I think that you can really feel Raimi's hand in the filmmaking here. And it is just the ways in which it is weak are purely in that, you know, I wish Strange and Chavez had a more developed dynamic that the movie could do with being 30 minutes longer. Frankly, everything, like, this movie does something that literally no other Marvel movie does, in that it will disappear up its own asshole to do something that's stupid and cool and awesome. And frankly, that gets you real far with me. Like, cape made of demons? Yeah! This is my favorite non-Guardians Marvel movie.
Yes.
I'm down with this.
That's a good shout,
like this movie a whole lot. I think the pacing of it could be a lot better. I kind of hate the Illuminati stuff, even though it tries to take the piss out of itself a little bit. It's still kind of
it bogs down the pace of it.
Yeah, it drags down the pace. Even if you get a fun set piece out of it, it hurts the pacing in the movie. And again, one of my biggest disappointments with any of these movies is the reduction of Chiwetel Ejiofor's role in all these. I love that part of the first movie, and I really wish that they had been able to pick up on that instead of having to make like a secret final episode of WandaVision.
But still, even in the ways in which it does that, I still think it's pretty cool.
I've cooled on this movie considerably since it came out. I think it was my favorite MCU movie when it came out, and it's, you know, sitting around like 7 or 8 now. But, you know, they finally made my girl Wanda a crazy bitch. And
Awesome.
Support women's wrongs.
I do.
Ever since I was a wee boy watching X-Men Evolution.
Oh my god.
And I saw the episode where Wanda was introduced as the most dangerous mutant to ever face the X-Men. I was like, let me watch this woman go off.
Wanda Maximoff, call me out of 10.
X-Men Evolution, we do not talk about X-Men Evolution enough.
We don't.
And, like, Rogue in X-Men Evolution, formative.
Absolutely, to this day, has ruined me.
No, 100%.
I popped in the X-Men Evolution DVD that I had and saw the intro where Rogue was dancing, and then that was the last time that I ever could have been normal.
All right, where do we put this one?
To me, this is, like, I would put this in the dead-ass middle of S, but I would still understand if maybe you wanted to put Avengers above it, just because it is probably the more well-rounded movie, but in terms of just what I have fun with, yeah, I give the edge to Multiverse.
I'm happy with S. Low S.
I see the vision. I don't like this movie as much as you guys do, but I see the vision. I see how we got here.
God,
Definitely.
my colon just shriveled up. Okay.
Actually, hell. Easy. Actually, hell.
To quote one August Nelson in one of my favorite moments on this YouTube channel, this is the worst film ever released.
And
I genuinely think this is my least favorite out of all these.
It's a very acceptable choice for word. It's my second to least favorite.
A friend of mine said, why do people not know how to flush after they take a shit? And I think that sums us up pretty well.
Just such an obviously bad movie in a way that none of the rest of these really are. I would go so far as to say that.
Yeah.
It's like a Josh Trank Fantastic Four level disaster, but uglier and more annoying.
It is like 100, like in terms of the comedy, this is the most obnoxious of all of these by a considerable distance. It is annoying, it's repetitive, and frankly the marketing of it where they were like, yeah man, it's really gay, is like the most cowardly craven shit of just like, you're gonna have the fucking audacity to come at me with this movie where you have the only explicitly queer character have like 6 lines and have the audacity to be like, it's camp. Blow it out your ass, dude. Stop.
This isn't a more.
Actually, I need to retcon. This is also my second least favorite. The one saving grace of this movie is Christian Bale.
No, I won't even.
Because I'm familiar with the source material, I can't even do that.
I don't know. I have a soft spot for what he's trying to do. He feels like he's from a completely different movie, and to me, I think that it just kind of adds to this movie's charm of being obviously completely mismanaged from the top down when you have Christian Bale doing what he's trying to do up against all this other shit.
It's just handled so fucking like it's comical how out of place he is. Like it is a joke when he is in the intro of this movie, and it's this comically dark backstory for this movie that is not like, this movie features a longtime MCU character dying of cancer, and its tone is what are we doing? What are we doing? It's like, it's not even worth fucking. We too much time on this. Forever. Wakanda Forever. There is a lot about this movie that is really like messy and doesn't totally work, and I don't really care because of, like, again, of the movies that actually manage to get me to feel something, and I get that there's extenuating circumstances here. Mm-hmm. It still manages to land a lot of really, really solid beats. Like, I think that this is more or less a really solid improvement over the first movie.
This made me actually care enough to want to watch Ironheart.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I kind of felt tempted. Kind of.
Definitely got higher highs and lower lows, which is the same thing that I would say about the first one. Is like, there are things that are here specifically in this movie that improve upon a lot of the beats that these movies are already really good at hitting. But when it stumbles, it's more obvious, and it's to a greater detriment of what the movie is trying to do, because it is trying to kind of pursue this higher calling. And so, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about a lot of it, but it's definitely in the upper. This one, Wakanda Forever, is definitely in the upper echelon for me, just because I love the stuff in the more. I love everything about this character. Fuck Tanaka Huerta, but good performance.
Yep.
Good villain. Good stuff there.
What did he do?
Stuff.
Bad.
I don't know 100% the details, but I think it's fuck Tanaka Huerta in this house.
Unfortunately.
Hold on.
Yeah, all right. What the hell?
Hollywood's wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Oh yeah, sexual assault allegations from a Mexican musician.
Sick, dude. Love it. Cool.
Yeah.
Don't want to die. So the problem with this movie is that I just never bought into Shuri as a lead. It doesn't get there for me. I think this should have pivoted hard into like a Wakanda royalty ensemble piece. And it doesn't. It does that sometimes, but it's so much of a sort of jumbled mess of priorities in this movie that it just can't get there fully with anything. But I do think it is a good movie that is like a genuinely, obviously there are extenuating circumstances, but the extenuating circumstances are baked into the text. Yes. So it's like,
in a smart way.
So it's like, it's a good movie. I don't like it as much as the first one, but they're right next to each other on my list.
I think that it really boils down to how you end up feeling about Shuri, because honestly, that's where the movie succeeds for me, is that I find her more compelling than I find T'Challa compelling in his movie.
Me too.
So this ends up rising a little bit above the pack for me. Like, it does a couple more interesting swerves and turns, and generally speaking, it's, very, very muscularly made, very solid movie, does not contain the aggressive visual dips of the first one, even if there are still moments that don't look as good as others. But like on the whole of this newer phase of the movies, I would say it's pretty high up there. I would say that this is, I would say top of B, bottom of A for me. Personally,
I can fuck with that.
I wouldn't put it above Strange, but I can live with that.
How about we put it right next to the original then?
That seems correct.
Oh, and we're back to the lowest circle of hell.
Yeah.
What the
I think I want to advocate for this as a fuck ass.
No.
Because this movie being such a narrative failure.
I'm shutting your butt down.
Like,
that's cool if I don't have to watch the movie.
That's
so
long. It's
all the
so
stuff in this
long.
this movie is pathetic. And I kind of, I don't know, in the same way that like No Way Home gives me weird feelings, this movie also gives me weird feelings, but it's funny because they're failing so obviously.
MODOK in this. Why? Why did we make any decision that had to do with that? Like, why were people really clamoring, Marvel? Was Kevin Feige like looking out the window and there were people protesting in the streets to be like, bring Corey Stoll back! We want MODOK! Nobody was doing that. No one has ever thought that. Not one person.
The sole redeeming factor of this movie is that I can look outside of the Hollywood sphere and go, I have seen movies that are worse and more offensive than this. That is it.
That's yeah. It is a Star Wars prequel without the vision of George Lucas.
Yeah.
What is worse than that? Not many things, honestly.
It looks worse than Attack of the Clones somehow.
And much like Black Widow, it wastes a beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous blonde woman.
I mean, truly, honestly, like what, like Catherine Newton, like why did we do that to her? Why did
Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie?
Why are we still doing this to Michelle Pfeiffer?
She was, y'all remember Batman Returns when she used the whip on the mannequin? She learned to do that. That wasn't a computer. She did that. She learned how to do it.
Bill Murray is in this movie.
Bill Murray is in this. Oh my god, I forgot Bill Murray.
Oh god, you're right.
Oh my god.
He saw Jeff Goldblum doing his bullshit in Ragnarok, and he said, "Give me a piece of that action."
We gotta bounce. I'm just
emotional whiplash right now.
This is my favorite Marvel film.
Yep,
it is. I think that this is the most. Like, it is not as solidly constructed as Guardians 1, but it goes for bigger emotional beats that land super hard. It also succeeds by the fact that, like, it doesn't have a villain that is as emotionally investing, but it is easily the villain in this entire universe that is just the most absolutely loathsome. Just the worst fucking guy. You just want to see nothing other than the worst thing ever happen to this man. And boy howdy do some of the worst things ever happen in this incredibly fucking dour movie. But it doesn't get lost in its dourness. It does not disappear into this movie marketed itself in a way where it felt like everybody's gonna fucking die. Like, you just take a look at that trailer and you're like, everybody's dead. Peter's dead. You know, Gamora's technically already dead. And, like, even the way they salvage that plot line and make it more about Peter and, everything about it just fucking works. It's so efficient. The action's great. The pace of it's great. Like, I really can't say enough good things about it. I think that it's not as visually compelling as 2, but that's really just by merit of the fact that the settings are different.
It's not as tight of a movie as 2, but you're right, Jake. It goes for some higher, loftier aims, and for me succeeds at all of them.
With my end game.
So Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon is the best character in this franchise.
Probably, yeah.
Bradley Cooper here in a voice booth gives the best performance in the entire franchise.
Like, genuinely, so stellar. So
wonderful.
I don't even think of it as him. Like, I'm so lost in the role that I'm never like, oh, that's Bradley Cooper. Never.
No, that's a raccoon.
Yeah.
It's a cybernetic raccoon boy.
There are moments sprinkled throughout 1, and they lean on this even heavier in 2, where he's like, I am a monster creature. And if there is anything that is going to hit me right in the chest, it is something that comes from something bad, or even was bad, trying so hard to be better.
And that's what this movie is. Like,
and
on
just
whole.
stepping up and hitting the fucking stadium lights.
Gave me everything I didn't know that I wanted from an ending to that trilogy. And also, like, this has to be the best trilogy since Lord of the Rings, right?
I mean, to me, it is maybe the...
Arguable.
Well, what else is there?
Yeah, I mean, like...
as far as American shit goes, I really don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like the second most consistent trilogy besides Lord of the Rings, where those are all 10s, and these are all extremely strong 8s, maybe 9s on a good day.
2 and a 9, so yeah.
Yeah, shockingly good.
Everything you could want, and there's also weird Marvel deep lore shit in it.
It definitely helps that it came out at a time where we are buried in garbage, but like this would have hit just as hard right after Endgame if it came out in like 2020 or something.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
My contribution here is I had guinea pigs named Yondu, Drax, and Rocket.
Oh.
So it added an extra emotional layer for me.
Owie.
So true, dog.
I may they rest in peace.
Little tiny fellas.
One of my favorite clips for demonstrating emotional turmoil is just, it's kind of been memed now when it's really affecting in the movie, but it is just that clip of Little Rocket going, no!
Oh god. That's pain. That's pain. Feeling pain. On a less painful note, this is the most average movie in this franchise that I'm going to go to bat for. Is the Marvels is a mess. I don't really think anything about this movie is particularly good. It's an enjoyable little watch.
I had a great time.
I said this on the Zoom call. This movie's got Robert Rodriguez energy, and I kind of love it.
A bit.
It's
now he sucks, but I got the impression that this was I hard skipped this because it was just I don't care. Sorry, women. I got the impression that this was distinctly overhated.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Captain Marvel.
It seemed completely innocuous. Like, not particularly good in any way or even notable, but like it's just like a, you know.
You got Nia DaCosta behind the camera, and there's some interesting action beats that are in here, and there is admirably silly shit in it. The worst part of this movie is the plot. Like, this movie's story and villain, which is literally gender-flipped Ronan the Accuser, but without the intimidation factor, is just like, anytime she's on screen, it's just like, get her away. Like, go back to Carol and the other two. Like, I like watching them do silly shit. It's fun. Why is the movie not more about that? Like, there's some really good comedy bits when they're doing the little switchy thing, when they're basically doing that one dude's power from Jujutsu Kaisen where they're all, like, switching in the blink of an eye by teleport. Like, that's a good little action beat. I like that. I remember that. That is more than I can say for a good deal of these films, which is why I would say that this is deserving to me of being, like, between Ant-Man and Cap 1 C tier.
Yeah, for me, this is at its best when it's them having a good time, and at its worst when it's trying to appeal to men. I had a great time with it.
Mid, but it is fun mid.
Yeah, it's a fun mid, definitely.
My ass has not seen this shit, so...
Oh, Morgan.
I cede the floor.
Hell.
Where are we putting her?
Between it doesn't really matter, but between Eternals and Quantumania, I think.
Okay.
It is slightly better than Love and Thunder and Quantumania for having Hugh Jackman trying.
Naturally.
And he really is trying with these reheated Logan nachos. I cannot stress enough to you how much this is the same plot beat of a Logan that failed the X-Men, that they have just reheated for all of the 20 to 30 minutes that he actually gets to like talk about something in this movie. And that is the best part of this movie. Ryan Reynolds has never been more annoying. And, I'm going to put on my Marvel comic fan cap for a second and say that starting this movie with Deadpool feeling rejected that he didn't get into the Avengers or the X-Men. Have you never read a Deadpool comic?
No.
This
Well, that's what
dude-
they're doing for all the second movies. Like, Deadpool wants to be the leader of a team and whatnot, but then they just completely scrap that. I don't know why.
Deadpool does not care about the X-Men. He does
Ryan
not want
Reynolds
to be.
does, though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the Avengers.
He thinks
He's
they're a
the
bunch of
fucking-
squares.
He's just like, do you not get the whole fucking like court jester thing that he has going on here? I don't want to have a Deadpool movie where he has a valuable arc about a found family. I want to see this dude be insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, let's have him say the fuck word 1,000 times and let's have him cut people's heads off. And it's like, yeah, sure, those are all Deadpool coded things, but like it so fundamentally misunderstands the appeal of that character as like they're trying to make him like one of the Guardians where he's like a real scrappy person who's done a lot of bad things but is trying to be better. And it's like, no part of Wade Wilson has ever wanted to be better. That is like the peak of self-assured delusional insanity in fiction. He's just like crazy and completely unto himself. Y'all don't get it, man.
Not
for this
funny.
movie to like be fucking, let's get all nostalgic for the middling ass 20th century Fox movies.
No.
Elektra. Remember
Yo,
Elektra?
This is the end of culture. When No Way Home was like, remember these things? We all went yes, and I remember them fondly. Deadpool versus Wolverine is like, hey, remember Elektra? Remember when we thought Channing Tatum was gonna be Gambit and he showed up at Comic-Con?
This movie has
Shut
to go.
up!
This movie has
Shut
to
up!
mine. This movie has to mine nostalgia for movies that don't exist.
Everybody's favorite old MCU movies, Daredevil and Elektra.
And it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. It made over $1 billion, and any day for
Sucks.
that meteor now.
It's coming.
Gonna stop.
Speaking of meteors,
We're gonna stay in hell a little bit longer.
the bottom of the barrel for me.
I really can't imagine a movie I wanted to see less than this.
There was a part of me that was just a little bit curious because I was just like, okay, everybody hates this, like even more than the other movies that surround it, which is saying something. So I was just like, I went into this just being like, how is this gonna be bad? And it's just the Winter Soldier, but worse. It's the same fucking movie.
What if
all
the Winter
over
Soldier
again.
was instead a Hulk who is also the president?
The fact that
You kind of weirdly make it sound better like that. You make it sound a little better than the Winter Soldier, but I'm gonna assume from execution that it was not in fact
It's
better.
just so boring, Morgan. You
They
don't
Yeah.
understand.
they
Yeah.
market this movie to be like, Red Hulk's in it. Guys, Red Hulk's in the movie. Thunderbolt Ross, he's going to turn into Red Hulk. And it is the last scene of the film. And, like, I don't care. Like, part of me is just like, you know, I don't care what people promise to me as long as I get an end product that's good. Because, you know, if you subvert my expectations, sure, fine, whatever. As long as it's good, I don't care. But instead here, it's like, it's putting off the thing that you're using as a carrot to get people to watch this fucking thing, and it doesn't even fucking matter. There is a part in this film where in the end, and he turns all hulky, and he's just standing in this gray fucking parking lot, And Sam Wilson, the man of unending lack of charisma, is like, you used to come here with Betty. And it's a parking lot! It is a movie that bends over inside of its own asshole to pick out the reference of, hey, do you remember the Incredible Hulk? Well, here's Tim Blake Nelson. And it's like, dude, I don't care. Nothing that happens in this movie matters. And and you know what? This could all still be true. You could have a Shang-Chi situation where at least some of the craft of the filmmaking is it. The fight scenes in this movie are edited like ass.
Dog ass.
They are filled with awful post-production zooms. They have way too much fucking coverage. It is a movie where it has no appeal. To me, this is the worst Marvel movie because it is taking itself so deathly fucking seriously, trying to make some point about like austerity or something, or, you know, American oversight, or like what the fuck ever, and it's nothing. Sam Wilson,
nothing.
Fuck Anthony Mackie, like I have never I have a file on my computer of us watching this movie, and there are like several times where Jen, Cole, and myself and Zach are like, you know, maybe like Morgan's always said that Anthony Mackie fucking sucks, but we've never agreed with him enough because he sucks in this fucking movie. Like, just juiceless. Every line delivery he is fucking asleep for. And the new Falcon, dude, no,
not a character. Doesn't exist. Who is he?
Just an absolute nothing movie. It's like, it's 2.5 but fucking hours long, and it's just, and here your reward for sitting through it is a wordless Liv Tyler cameo.
Put this in hell and vaccinate your fucking kids.
They literally make this point where Anthony Mackie's like, I should really take the superhero serum, and then they just don't ever follow that up again. I will settle for here, but this to me is last place in my heart. There's probably more effort in it than Thor: Love and Thunder, but it is way more unpleasant to me.
I haven't seen it. I never will see it. I don't care.
Good. Don't.
Good.
Like, honestly.
Watch Half Nelson instead.
You're better for having
good Anthony Mackie. Thunderbolts.
Relatively speaking, you know, I like when this movie was like, you know, doing a little contained thriller thing for its first half. That was
honk, shoo, me.
Look, every character in this movie that is not Florence Pugh or the main villain has no reason to be in the film.
Yeah.
Like, they are utterly insignificant. Like, Ghost is in this movie. What did she do?
She shot really, Taskmaster.
She's really fine.
Yep, that's true.
She did shoot Taskmaster.
It is...
Women are hot and Bucky Barnes has a fucking business card.
Bucky Barnes has a business card.
Bucky Barnes is an elected member of Congress.
Senator Bucky Barnes.
The former Soviet asset, Bucky Barnes.
Like legitimately, actually, what?
It's like nominating Lee Harvey Oswald for Secretary of Defense.
Now, I'm not saying that's a good
Fun
cut myself off before the FBI does.
The villain is a decent Homelander knockoff. They even do the thing where he's got like a weird maternal figure too with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, which is bafflingly the central antagonist to this film for some reason.
I like Lewis Pullman a lot in this movie. I like this Bob character a whole lot.
He's doing some okay stuff. There's some good shots with him. And like, again, him and Yelena, good parts of this movie. Everything else is just it's there, you know, like it, like, are these guys are legit. Like, these guys are going to be fighting Victor Von Doom.
The new Avengers.
The new Avengers. I laughed
Avengers,
out
baby.
loud. I
I
laughed
laugh out loud frequently.
out loud when it splashed across the screen, New Avengers, and I went in a public theater. I went, ha.
This is the ass end of C for me. It is anonymous. I don't think it does many things that are, out and out bad, but it has interesting things. It just doesn't really do much with them. I don't feel strongly one way either way about it. Like,
It is extraordinarily, impressively unremarkable.
I guess Morgan and I are the ones who have seen Fantastic Four, and I'm pretty sure we feel broadly the same way about it. And,
Upper D.
yeah, I would put it between Iron Man 2 and Far From Home, probably. No,
Sure.
Far From Home, I think. Yeah. It's Vanessa Kirby's really good. She's good.
It's a Sue Storm movie, which is a smart thing to do, but not at the cost of everyone else.
Joseph Quinn, bad.
Very bad.
Our boy from The Bear, wasted. Pedro
Aw,
Pascal.
man.
He's a fine fan fiction offshoot of Reed Richards here, but I hate to say it, but not my Reed Richards. Not really.
No, very, very little in common.
Julia Garner
Reed Richards
is
that I enjoy.
Julia Garner is very good in Weapons. Go
Yep.
see that.
See weapons.
Let's see weapons.
So true.
And then,
Josh Thanos is also in that film.
Now we've got this fucking monstrosity before us. I feel like some compromises were made, some aisles were reached across, but I am very okay with the end product here.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty charitable
A
towards how
solid
this ended
half
up.
of these you can just never think about.
Yeah, if you want to watch any of these movies, watch from B above. If you're ever confused about what happens in those movies, because of things in movies that you didn't watch,
Assume
worry
that the
about
good
it.
guys beat the bad ones.
Yep.
And then there you go.
take a nap.
Take a nice little nap.
Fuck.
You can watch the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and, like, with the exception of one plot point in Guardians 3, you can just enjoy that little trilogy.
and anyway, stream Daredevil and Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus.
Stream Stevie.
Hell yeah.
What's your favorite Marvel movie?
I'll eat your firstborn child and swallow your soul, filthy human.
So, naturally, tell us what your thoughts on the Marvel films, the films done Kevin Feige. Give us your ranking. in
The Kevin
comments.
Feige joints.
Oh, God.
On Civil War on Letterboxd. It's a fun time.
I remember that review precisely because Zach commented at the bottom of it, bodied.
And I could have been meaner.
You could have.
Could have.
You should have. We should always be more mean to corporations. That's the lesson that you should learn from all of this.
Go read a book.
Read a fucking comic book.
Yeah, read an actual comic book. Go buy James Gunn's Superman on Blu-ray. And, look forward to Supergirl in theaters
Don't
whenever.
read Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four and Secret Wars, and do not watch Fantastic Four First Steps or Avengers Secret Wars or Doomsday.
Nah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Those are things that you can do.
But if you don't, fuck you.
Bitch!